In a world that teaches you to escape discomfort, the samurai chose to remain inside it. While others searched for relief, the warrior searched for endurance. This was not cruelty toward the self, but a quiet agreement with reality as it is, not as it should be. To endure everything is not to harden the heart, but to free it from fear. This is the samurai way, and it begins where excuses end. Long before comfort became a virtue, Japanese warriors lived by principles that demanded composure under suffering. One of these principles was gaman, the discipline of enduring the seemingly unbearable with patience and dignity. Miyamoto Musashi, Japan's greatest swordsman, wrote of accepting hardship without complaint and standing unshaken by pain or loss. For the samurai, endurance was not passive suffering, but active mastery of the self. What breaks most people was used as a forge. Chapter 1. The Weight of Resistance. Kenji was not a warrior by profession, but his life felt like a battlefield he was losing. He worked long hours, carried quiet disappointments, and felt an unnamed exhaustion that sleep never cured. When things went wrong, his instinct was to resist, to complain inwardly, and to search for escape through distraction. Each hardship felt personal, unfair, and heavy. Over time, this resistance made everything feel heavier than it was. Zen teaches that suffering multiplies when the mind fights what already exists. The samurai understood this deeply, not as theory, but as survival. On the battlefield, resistance to fear meant death, while acceptance created clarity. Musashi wrote that you must not let the mind be disturbed by hardship, because disturbance clouds judgment. Kenji had been fighting life itself, and life always wins that battle. Chapter 2. The Discipline of Gaman. Gaman is often misunderstood as silent suffering, but it is something far more disciplined. It is the decision to endure without resentment, without theatrical emotion, and without self-pity. In Bushido, this endurance preserved honor and inner balance when chaos surrounded the warrior. The samurai trained their minds to remain upright even when the body was pushed to its limit. Strength was measured by composure, not noise. Kenji encountered this idea not through a dramatic revelation, but through exhaustion. One evening, after another day of quiet frustration, he stopped asking why things were difficult. Instead, he asked how he was responding to difficulty. He noticed how much energy he wasted wishing life were different. That night, he chose a small shift, to endure the next hardship without internal commentary. Chapter 3. Endurance as a System. The samurai did not rely on motivation. Because motivation fades, they relied on systems, rituals, and non-negotiable discipline. Endurance was trained daily through repetition, simplicity, and restraint. Musashi lived simply, removing comforts that weakened his resolve. By eliminating excess, the warrior strengthened what remained. Kenji began with one non-negotiable action, showing up fully to what was in front of him, without complaint. When work was tedious, he stayed present. When emotions arose, he observed them without feeding them. This was not suppression, but containment. Over time, he noticed something unexpected. The hardship did not disappear, but it lost its power over him. Chapter 4. Silence under Pressure. The samurai trained in silence because silence reveals the truth of the mind. Complaints are a way to release pressure, but they also reinforce weakness. In Zen, silence is not emptiness, but awareness without distortion. A quiet mind sees clearly, even in pain. This clarity is what allowed warriors to act decisively under threat. Kenji practiced silence internally. When frustration appeared, he did not narrate it. When disappointment arrived, he did not dramatize it. He endured it fully, letting it rise and fall without resistance. In this silence, he felt stronger, not because life became easier, but because his inner world became stable. Chapter 5. Surrender without defeat. To endure everything, the samurai surrendered to reality without surrendering their will. This distinction is critical. Surrender meant accepting what could not be changed, while directing effort toward what could. Musashi warned against attachment to outcomes because attachment creates fear. Fear fractures endurance. Kenji learned this through failure. Some efforts still did not pay off, and some days remained heavy. But he stopped measuring his worth by outcomes. Instead, he measured it by his posture toward adversity. Each time he endured without breaking, he strengthened an identity rooted in resilience rather than comfort. Chapter 6. Transformation through endurance. Endurance changes the shape of the mind. What once felt unbearable becomes manageable, and what once provoked panic becomes familiar. The samurai believed that repeated exposure to hardship refined character. Pain became a teacher, not an enemy. Over time, endurance produced calm authority. Kenji noticed this change quietly. Situations that once overwhelmed him now passed through him without disruption. He spoke less, reacted less, and observed more. Others sensed this steadiness, though few could name it. He had not become invincible, but he had become unshakable. Chapter 7. Living the Samurai Way. The samurai way of enduring everything is not about seeking suffering. It is about refusing to be ruled by it. Through gaman, zen awareness, and disciplined simplicity, the warrior builds an inner structure that does not collapse under pressure. Endurance becomes freedom, because nothing external can steal one's center. Kenji's life did not become perfect, but it became grounded. He stopped chasing ease and began cultivating strength. In enduring everything, he discovered something rare in the modern world: quiet confidence. This is the inheritance of the samurai, available to anyone willing to endure with dignity. To endure everything is to stop negotiating with reality. It is to meet each moment fully, without excess emotion or escape. The samurai understood that peace is not found by avoiding hardship, but by standing firm within it. When endurance becomes your way of being, nothing is wasted and nothing is feared. This is not the loud path, but it is the unbreakable one.